Remember this a couple of weeks ago? EVs left stranded, unable to charge in the extreme cold temperatures in places like Chicago.
Of course. Remember, this would have caused a problem for many travelers. Well, despite these headlines and these stories, the Biden administration is continuing to go ahead to push for more EV production. They're planning to install 500,000 EV charging stations across the U.S. It's not all smooth sailing, though. Some of the foreign parts needed to make them are tied up in a debate between the White House and Congress, with Senator Joe Manchin even blasting the Biden administration for its EV charger tax credit, saying it, quote, spits in the face of rural America.
Veronica Maoli is a Ford dealership owner joining us here. Veronica, thank you. Edward Niedermeyer is a co-host for the Autonocast and author of Ludicrous, the Unvarnished Story of Tesla Motors. Thank you both for coming on. Veronica, you are a dealership owner. Are you opposed to this push to go electric? We have seen this push from the Biden administration very heavy-handedly. What does this mean for a dealership owner like you, Veronica?
Yeah, absolutely. We are not for the push of this EV. To be honest with you, we are struggling to even sell these vehicles. And we have a Ford store in New Jersey. And one of the things is that because of all of the strikes that went on, they now are not even producing the EV vehicles as much as they were before. So now we're trying to build up an infrastructure, and now we don't have the cars.
Wow. So either way, it's like we're playing catch up, or you've got too much inventory, not enough demand, just a challenge for folks like yourself. Edward, got to ask you about some of these problems related to EVs, right? In theory, they're so cool. You know, you just charge it up like you charge all your other devices and then you'd be just fine. Here are what some drivers found themselves dealing with, maybe unexpectedly so. Let's watch.
If I've got an event on the weekend and it's forecast to be a really cold snap like this, I have no option but to go and hire a van.
When these batteries just die on the road, they just stop dead, and you just put like a volt into them to get them to move into neutral. Then when they go dead, they're dead.
Okay, so it's not just in the U.S. I guess folks in the U.K. also dealing with some of these challenges. Edward, talk to me about maybe these unexpected circumstances that drivers might find themselves in if they purchase EVs.
Yeah, so I think, we've seen EVs grow to about almost 10% of the market now here in the U.S., and I think it's because for some people it fits their lifestyle fairly well. But I think, we've made that growth under the assumption that this is a product that slots in and basically just replaces a gas car sort of one-to-one. And I think that that's sort of the underlying untruth that we're running up against. This is why, sort of as you get down into lower price points, it's getting harder because you need these big batteries. And even when you have big batteries, which make these cars so expensive that only so many people can afford them, you have these issues, with the weather even with these fast chargers on the freeways, they still will not refuel as fast as a gas car. And I think fundamentally we just need to accept, if we are going to move towards electric vehicles, that they are different, and that's a transition that we need to think about making in a more conscious way than we have.
Great points. Veronica, we'll end the segment with you here. What are you hearing? I'm curious to know, maybe from your sales reps on the showroom floor that are coming in and they're saying, you know what, I'm really interested in an electric vehicle, perhaps something that you have here, but I'm concerned about X. What is that?
The biggest thing is range anxiety. The biggest thing is not being able to get to where you need to go in the amount of time that you need to get there, because you have to stop and charge. You don't know exactly how far you have with the battery, because, as you were just saying, if it's very, very cold out, then it's going to be less. You have to really prepare. It's a different lifestyle that I just don't think that this country is ready for.
All right, Veronica Maoli joining us, Edward Niedermeyer. Thank you both. We appreciate the conversation.